You have to drive the piling down to bedrock. So I haven't done any of those for a while. I mean, those things will run $2 to $3 million more than one that you just put on solid ground. Sometimes just the anecdotes have hit some of these projects. We did one over in Indiana where we filled a coal mine with concrete before they could start building. They pumped concrete into that thing for 5 solid weeks, 24 hours a day. So, you know, of course, we kid about it, not to Walmart, but around the offices. You know, I mean, they could have bought the whole town for what we spent on that pumping that concrete. But it's you do run into some interesting stuff. This is a really good profession. I as long as I've been at it, I still enjoy it. There's a real gratification in when your efforts result in something that's there after you leave. I have a cousin who's an attorney, makes a lot more money than I do, hates his job. He shuffles paper all day, and when he's done, you know, there's nothing. But, you know, I leave buildings behind me, so it's pretty gratifying profession.
May I ask about the concrete that was for 5 weeks? Was it cost effective? Why didn't they move the site?
Well, you know, I really can't answer that. I mean, it was about $3.5 million to do that. It's just like grout, not really, no stone in it. I don't know, because I doubt very much that they got surprised. It was it was a abandoned coal mine, and in fact, we when we bid that job, and I told you they usually are $10 to $14 million. The bids were $18 to $20 million for a $12 million store, and they rejected everything. And finally, nobody. There were 4 bidders on it. None of us would bid it firm for that concrete pumping. So we finally got it where we bid everything but that, and then they just paid us cost plus a 10% fee to do that. And I mean, I just can't hardly believe, as thorough as they are, that they got fooled by that it was a surprise. It just, but they have not done any more, I can tell you that. So, and it took 15 months to build it. Generally, at Walmart, we'll be there for 7 months. And at the end of the 7 months, we turn it over to Walmart. It takes them about 6 weeks to set one up, bring in the shelves and all their stuff, stock it, and we leave someone there that entire period, because a lot of stuff gets damaged, and we have to kind of fix it so that on grand opening it looks brand new. Generally these days, and I'll get into why, I have 3 supervisors there. We don't do any of the work ourselves. We are a construction manager. You know, we hire guys to do the concrete, and guys to do or subcontractors to do the electrical and the mechanical, all of it. And I still have 3 supervisors there, which gets into several questions about what kind of problems do we run into building these things. Well, first of all, the schedule is key. My company has never been late building one. Most companies that I'm aware of that have been late don't work for them anymore. They're killer about the schedule. Walmart plans these things anywhere from 18 to 24 months ahead of when they're going to open them. They schedule delivery of stuff to the store 18 months ahead of time. I've been down to Bentonville, Arkansas, where their headquarters is a lot of times. You know, you think, biggest private company in the world in Arkansas, but and there's nothing fancy down there. No giant office building. They're very Midwestern people, but they're huge, and they're very demanding customer. But I've been building them for 25 years now. Find them very fair. First one we built was the old store in Mattoon. Most of you fellows are probably too young to remember it because that was 1981. And but we've been building them ever since. They plan to open 400 stores per year. At any one time, there's probably 300 of them under construction. And with that 7 to 9 month construction period, you get a little bit of overlap. But by last year, they made 378 new openings. I've not built one in a town that didn't have one for the last 8 years. Generally, we're building big ones across the street from little ones, and it's a lot of people resent them. And I told you where I grew up. We don't have any stores left over there, and it's big companies like that do it. But they're the biggest construction user in the world. In fact, I'd bet 2 or 3 of you wind up working either for Walmart or for somebody that works for Walmart, because they just there's more opportunities. We constantly try and steal, me and our competitors try and steal each other's supervisors because they're in such short supply. When I hire somebody at my place, it takes about, depending on how sharp you are and how ambitious, anywhere from 2 to 3 years before we think you're ready to go out and be pretty much in charge of one of these projects. Now, I do all that work I have 25 employees is all I have. And getting back to it, I have 3 people on the job. One guy pretty much is there to ensure the schedule, the quality. He doesn't control the cost very much because we do most of that from the office with the project managers. Pretty much by the time we start work, everything major has been contracted out. We have a fixed price to do it. So if there are money issues, they sort of wind up back at the office. The other 2 people, one spends maybe half their time being a clerk, just doing all the record keeping, but some new issues that have come up just in the last few years, and it's not just Walmart, it's all of the bigger users of construction. EPA is really, the federal EPA is really becoming stringent about stormwater pollution. Like during construction, and you see it out there, even when they're building highways, there's mud all over the place. Well, Walmart's policy is 0 stormwater pollution gets off those sites. One of my guys spends most of his time looking at that. I mean, we have silt fences and all sorts of little devices to control this water, put it where we want it, let it settle out, and when it does leave the site, it's clear. And we do that to the extent that I may have somebody that we got from job service standing at the gate. Say we're pouring concrete. He's standing at the gate with a high pressure washer. If a truck comes out with mud on the tires, we wash it off before he goes on the street. And that might be 100 loads a day.